Hello, everyone, and welcome to Steve Rosenfield's stand-up comedy workshop show. I got a smudge on my camera there. I'm gonna take that's better. Now you can see all of my skin's imperfections. I'm so excited about this show tonight. We have students of the American Comedy Institute performing from all across the country for you online. Some of our students are making their stand-up comedy debut tonight. So what you're going to see is that incredible lineup of comics. They've all trained together in a workshop by the award-winning comedy director, the founder of the American Comedy Institute, and the author of the book Mastering Stand-Up, Steve Rosenfield. So they have their stuff to do for you tonight. Like I said, we're from all across the country. And since we're on Zoom, that means wherever you live in the country, if you love stand-up comedy and you want to give this thing a shot, you got to do it at the American Comedy Institute. I'll tell you more about our workshops later, but I want to start by introducing myself. I will be your host this evening. Get cozy. You now own a comedy club, so 2-drink minimum is very much in effect. My name is Michaela, and I'm feeling pretty good today because I finally had the realization I don't have to be perfect. I just have to wake up every day and be the hottest version of Rosie O'Donnell that I can be. Like a Flintstones Rosie O'Donnell. And I think I'm getting there. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that revelation. I'm here in New York City, coming live from New York. I thought New York City when I moved here would be like Sex in the City. It's like no sex in the outer boroughs. That's more the show. Gosh, it's hard. But New York giveth and New York taketh away. Like it has giveth me a bunion and taketh away all my money. It's a tough place to be. I am an official tour guide now. I took the exam, and I can tell you that New York is a playground for the rich. That's what they say it's becoming, and I can attest to this fact. But they're not the only people on the playground. We are here. We are the exhausted caretakers sitting on metal benches with Ziploc bags of dry Cheerios, just making sure that they don't fall out of their residential skyscrapers. They love those things. They're going up and down on I don't know if you call it a seesaw or a teeter-totter. They call it the stock market. That's their favorite. They love playing on that. My God. And they always want you to watch them too. They're on the playground like, watch me over here. Watch me climb Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm past financial success. I'm all the way to self-actualization. Yay. New York's getting tough stuff out there. I decided I'm going to follow my dreams. This is where I tell you I want to become a stand-up comedian. No, I have to be honest with you. I want to be an astronaut. And I know we all did. We all did. Admit it. You dreamed of being an astronaut, but now look where we are. Feet firmly planted on the ground, just completely still under the influence of gravity. What have we done? What have we done? I lack a lot of the basic qualifications, I will admit, but I did major in STEM in college. I did. I got a STEM degree. Some theater, enough math. Enough math for me. I don't want to do any more. I'm not like an ideal candidate, I guess you'd say, but only because like I cried real tears of space. I cried real tears of terror when I rode Mission Space when I was the ripe old age of 19, because I don't like when things go high or fast. So that could be a problem. I would not quit weed even if the moon herself asked me to. Like I'm never going to give it up. And I am under the very real and very unfair NASA height requirement of 5'2". That's their requirement. It's not acceptable. But I do dream one day that NASA will call. They'll be like, we lowered the height requirement. Sign up. Or, we got funding to do experiments on girls kissing in microgravity. And if weed makes space more awesome, we need you. Come join. Oh, that would be the best. But alas, I must wait. I must wait until that day. My mom's visiting. She's watching tonight. She's in the living room. Mom is from Florida. I'm really proud of her though, because even though Floridians did their own thing during this pandemic, my mom was following the science. She got vaccinated, she got boosted, and she also follows other science though. Like she sent me an article that said studies show the more you hang out with your mom, the longer she'll live. And I'm going to need to see that peer reviewed. I just don't know if that is completely accurate, but I'll give her a chance. I am a very anxious person. I actually try and meditate. I try. I listen to guided meditations, but I can't do them when a man is talking. I feel bad. And there are some wonderful men on this Zoom call tonight. But whenever a man in my ears goes, take a deep breath and relax, I'm like, don't you tell me. Don't you tell me to relax, sir. Absolutely not. So I am trying to look for alternatives there. I was a lesbian back in college. I don't know if you got that. And I still am because I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to quit. I get really great advice from my aunt. She's also gay. She lives in New Jersey with her wife. And not to brag, pretty sure that they are the cornerstone of the New Jersey lesbian community. Like if they weren't there, New Jersey would fall into the ocean. I'm pretty sure. They give great advice. It's just kind of outdated. Like they came out in the 1980s or so. So I'll ask them, hey, how do I let this girl know I'm interested in her? And they're like, okay, got it. McKay, here's what you're going to do. Step number one, marry a man, wait 10 to 12 years. Wait it out. Okay. You got to be patient here. Then at your weekly all girls poker game, go on up to your friend Debbie, give her a passionate but clumsy kiss on the side of the cheek, and then wait 10 to 12 more years. Okay. It never happened. Deny. Then at your goddaughter's communion, go on up to Debbie. She's invited. She's like family. Kiss her full on the mouth. Tell her you die for her. Live happily ever after in secrecy. Tell no one. Never tell anyone your secrets. Does that help? I'm like, no, but thank you. Thank you so much anyway. I love you guys. Thank you guys. My name's Michaela. I'm so excited about your lineup tonight. These are lovely people and they're so funny. So please give it up for your first comedian all the way from Des Moines, Iowa. This is Lisa Rossi.
Hey, hi. So yeah, I'm Lisa and I'm in my late 20s, early 40s, that age range. And when women my age slightly step out of line and start dressing a little sexy, people are like, wow, she's in crisis. But when a man like totally crosses the line, tells everyone about it, it's not a crisis, it's called a podcast. So, good news, I smoked my first pot last Sunday. Thank you. You know that you're a mom smoking your first pot and not a college girl when your first thought is, oh gosh, this is good. Do they sell this in bulk at Costco? And then your next thought is, I'd like to do this with friends, but I don't know how to bring it up. Like, so, hey, after we have our hamburgers, would you like to smoke some drugs together? So I'm from a small town. I'm from Dyke, Iowa. That is not a punchline. That is where I am from. It could be worse. I could be from the next town over, which is called Cumming. Yes, I had to give a blind date directions. I said, you can just go straight past Cumming and then you can get off at Dyke. I love Dyke. I'm an ally of Dyke. I have a harder time with Cumming. Yeah, in high school, I felt so bad for those Cumming cheerleaders. Go team. Ah. So in high school, I hated it when kids gossiped about me. I just hated that. And I remember one time in the lunchroom, these two girls were talking about me and I overheard them talking. And one of them was saying, hey, did you hear that Donnie Dunkelberger got Lisa Rossi off by finger banging her? And I was like, that is a flat out lie. He didn't get me off. And they shouldn't call him Donnie Dunkelberger. His name is Donnie Didn't Make Her Come Burger. So my gripes with small town Iowa is they are gossipy. And, I made a promise to myself that I was going to go someplace better. I was going to get out. And I have. I'm in Des Moines. Yeah. And now my private choices are for me and my 801 followers on Instagram. So the other night I was bathing my children and and when you're getting them ready for bed, you're like, you're telling them like, hey, like, wash your face, brush your teeth, put on your jammies. And I look down and I realize that I have not had sensation in my vagina for 5 years. Sad. Yeah, maybe she's dead. Maybe we should have a funeral for my vagina. Yeah. And and the pastor would go up in front and give a eulogy. At her height, Lisa's vagina loved watching Michael Jordan in his basketball shorts. And her vagina was so generous, she once made it with a guy who tasted like Doritos. Honestly, she was willing to do absolutely anything after 3 Bud Lights. She made at least 11 men very happy. At least she thinks it was 11. After 3 Buds, she would lose count. She is best remembered for her rewrite of the children's book Goodnight Moon, which I will now recite. Good night, labia. Good night, womb. Good night, good times in the bedroom. Good night, bars, across the room stairs. Good night, fun times in your underwears. She was so young. How was she supposed to know that night with Donnie didn't make her cum burger was to be the best night of her life? So I recently went on a little vacation. I went to New York. And I had a big goal. Yeah, my goal was to not do the touristy things. And I was doing pretty good. I went to a Thai food restaurant and I didn't even order pad Thai because they ran out of it. I went to an S&M drag show. That is not touristy. And everyone was so open sexually. And I met this guy, this girl, guy, they, them, someone. I met this person and they asked me, what I was into sexually. And I was like, I'm into missionary with my husband. For me, sex is like getting a Brazilian wax once every 3 months and it hurts. So I was out with some friends recently and this guy I had never met told me that my Spanx yoga pants gave him a boner. And I was like, and your name is? I think you should at least introduce yourself before we talk about your dick. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. I'm Lisa Rossi.
Lisa Rossi. Lisa, now I'm craving a burger and a Bud Light. What? Come on. That sounds really good right now. Maybe two or three Bud Lights. That's the ticket. Your next comic is coming all the way from Chicago, Illinois. He's really funny. You're going to love him. So please put your virtual hands together for Mr. Kyle Parker.
I want to tell you, I am very blessed because I am the father of 5 children. And I can't tell you what it's like living with 5 people who all believe I am the world's biggest moron. Well, actually, it'd be 6 if you include my wife. In 5th grade, I made fun of a classmate of mine in sex ed because he asked the stupidest question ever. What happens if the egg cell gets fertilized by accident? It's like, dude, what do you think? We're just walking around, you bump into somebody and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to bump into you. Here's my card. Call me if you get pregnant. What an idiot that kid is. Well, ain't life a bitch because now I have 5 kids and I don't know how the hell that happened. And let me get this out of the way too. No, we're not Catholic or Mormon. There's no triplets, no twins, no adoptions. This all happened because my wife and I love to share things together, like tequila and porn. Kids are always coming to me and asking me why there's so many of them. Dad, why does Andrew's family only have 2 kids and they each have their own Xbox? I'm like, honey, I don't know what to tell you. Your mom and I just don't believe in birth control. And for the last year or so, it has not been a good time for the name Kyle. And if that isn't bad enough, my wife's name is Karen. Instead of being 2 respectable parents, only hated By our children, it sounds like we own a QAnon bookstore. I think some of the friends we have only socialize with us and keep us around in case of an emergency, like, if Trump were to get reelected. If you're a progressive, having a Kyle and Karen at your dinner party will bring you some Protexiano. And here's something crazy. During the lockdown, I gave up drinking with 5 kids in the house. Yeah, that's insane. I think the only thing crazier was going to my niece's 6-year-old birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. Sober. All my new sober friends want to get together and have a mocktail. Hey, Parker, let's have fun. Let's be healthy. Let's have a mocktail. Mocktail? Well, they took the cock out of it. This has been a very stressful time for my wife, too, because she works in a COVID ICU. Amazingly, it hasn't impacted our love life. That was dead after the 5th kid. I get mad about all the violence in the world, and I believe people killing other people is unnatural. Man's basic instinct to kill is to hunt for food. If man were meant to kill another human being, we'd taste better. I have friends who are planning their summer vacations right now, and some of them are avoiding places where there's been shark sightings. I read a study that you have a 2 times better chance of being killed by a cow than a shark. So don't hesitate to go to Cape Cod this summer. But if you pass a farm, stay the heck away from Bessie. Oh boy, and scientists, they predict the Earth's surface is going to be covered by more water due to climate change. More and more cities are going to be flooded. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that part. Have you ever seen an unhappy person in a boat? I have been reading about so many prisons, and the prison population is filled with so many young people. And I think the prison officials can learn something from my experience with my kids. I think they could save a fortune if they just gave these prisoners smartphones. That way they wouldn't need guards and guns and barbed wire. The prisoners would go right in their cells, yell at someone to close their door, and they wouldn't come out again until they were hungry. I read the Bible growing up. One of the things that always had me confused were the names. You had these biblical Middle Eastern names like Ezekiel and Balthazar and Nebuchadnezzar. And then the apostles come in. I mean, how many guys named Peter do you know who can ride a camel? And Jesus, he was supposedly a Jewish dude. But what Jewish person ever named their kid Jesus? If he was walking around ancient Israel, I don't think people are going, hey, there's the Messiah. They'd be like, yo, there's that Latino dude. Thank you, everybody. I'm Kyle. It's been great to be here.
Kyle Parker. Kyle, I keep thinking about that. If I've ever seen anyone unhappy on a boat, and not a pontoon boat. Definitely pontoons. Everyone's always psyched. So I'm going to have to buy one of those because this city's going under. I can feel the water level. That was great, Kyle. Thank you. Your next comic, performing from Metuchen, New Jersey. This is the very funny John Gorman.
Hi. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's something that I don't understand. Why do we require that children in elementary school pledge their allegiance every single morning? Are we worried they're going to lose their loyalty overnight? Are they going, hey, Mom, when I finish my addition homework, can we read that Kim Jong-un book again? So New York State is considering a bill that would make it mandatory to have sex education starting as early as kindergarten. So what'd you learn in school today? My ABCs, 2 + 2 = 4. Oh, and she can still get pregnant even if you pull out. Our country has never adopted the metric system. I guess it was just too hard, but we're in really good company. The list of countries that didn't adopt the metric system is pretty impressive. It includes Myanmar and Liberia. That's it. In fairness, we do use the metric system for the things that are most important: hard alcohol and cocaine. So I know people from all over the political spectrum who are worried about losing our holidays, right? I have Italian friends who are worried about Columbus Day. I feel like Thanksgiving is starting to lose its luster a little bit. Labor Day, I don't think the Republicans are going to let that go on much longer because we all know that people who work for a living are communists. So I'm afraid we're going to be down to the most basic and innocuous of holidays. But we'll still have National Pretzel Day on April 26th. Then we're going to have to wait until September 15th for the next major holiday, National Felt Hat Day. I think we're going to be okay in December because we have the two big holidays, National Rutabaga Day, and of course, on the 21st, National Flashlight. So some of my friends like to say that 60 is the new 40. No, it's not. When I was 40, I'd actually make dinner reservations for after 7 p.m. And I wouldn't spend the entire time cupping my ear saying, what? Could you just repeat that? When I was 40, if I wanted to cut back a little and lose some weight, I'd limit myself to 2, maybe 3 slices of pizza. Now I limit myself to half an avocado in my arugula salad. So I do want to avoid getting set in my ways. And so I made a commitment to be more spontaneous. If I see an advertisement for something that I like, I just go for it and buy it. Which explains why I haven't booked a vacation. I clicked yes for a vacation in Angola next month. I consider myself to be a very, very lucky man. And I can honestly say that my wife is my best friend. We are truly friends with benefits. And I mean benefits. She's got health insurance, life insurance, retirement plan, dental. You know, I've been thinking about the 10 Commandments, the actual 10 Commandments, not the movie. I think 3 of them are rock solid. Don't steal, don't kill, don't commit adultery. The others could use a little work if they're going to be relevant and something that people can actually follow. For instance, honor thy mother and thy father kind of sets the bar a little high. Why not honor thy mother and thy father unless they're acting like idiots? Another tweak I would suggest, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife blatantly. Don't bear false witness against your neighbor. How about don't bear false witness against your neighbor, get a lawyer and have him do it. So I recently got a dog from a breeder, and the breeder told us he was fully trained. Fully trained? No. I mean, this dog is just not woke. There's just so much inappropriate sniffing and the licking and the mounting. You know what I'm worried about? And he's a little fluffy guy, a little Pomeranian. And what I'm worried about is he's going to hump the wrong German Shepherd someday and get canceled entirely. So thank you for coming out tonight, and please enjoy the rest of your evening.
John Gorman. John, I don't think you have to worry about your dog humping anyone except your neighbor's wife. Probably. It's probably going to break that commandment. Oh, well. Thanks for being on the show, John. Your next comic coming to the screen. I have a pencil because I'm very serious right now. I'm very excited about your next comedian. She's a lovely person and very funny. So put your hands together all the way from Topeka, Kansas. This is Jay. Gotta unmute you, Jay. Okay. There we go.
Hey, good to see everybody. You know, I'm wearing a thong. Yeah. But actually, they're my granny panties. Due to COVID weight, they just kind of look like a thong now. But I'm still seriously sexy. I am. Do you remember when edibles meant panties? I turned 69 this year. My husband and I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we tried that position again? And it was fun for a few minutes until we got all tangled up in our CPAP machines. It just wasn't the same. Has Doorbell taken the fun out of being a window peeper? Maybe. I won't eat green beans. It just goes back to my childhood. I was terrified of the Jolly Green Giant. What marketing people want to make kids want to eat something that looks as tall as Wilt Chamberlain, but has a serious case of gangrene? I'm just saying. Back in the day, we didn't have online dating. We would put an ad in the newspaper under singles. And then you would use letters of the alphabet to describe what you wanted to do on that date. Now, I have to read this, but this is what my letters were. SWFDNLWITPOWMILCCDSPOB. This meant single white female does not like walks in the park or watching movies. I like chili cheese dogs and a 6-pack of beer. Easy. I only got one reply. And he asked me if I liked green beans. And I said, no, 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 Green Giant. Murder shows. I love them. But it seems that really nice people are the ones who get murdered. A lot of them are older victims. These grandparents, and they go to all their grandchildren's t-ball games. Have you ever been to a t-ball game? Believe me, if you have, you would wish that maybe you were murdered. Hate t-ball. Hate t-ball. I had breast reduction. I went from double D's to B cups. What I didn't know that under those double D's was a fat belly. Oh, if I were to do it again, I would have a lot less reduction and a lot more liposuction. Seriously. I took my measurements for Weight Watchers. I'm 41 by 41. For God's sake, I am SpongeBob SquarePants grandma. It's pissing me off. Yeah. Oh, well. Recently, I attended a sacred Kickapoo Indian baptismal ceremony. I was just chatting away. I felt a tap on my shoulder. It was the tribal chief. He said, "You are disturbing the spirits." I said, what a nice way to tell me to shut the fuck up. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Jay Patterson. Oh, just Jay. Oh, no. Jay, that was great. That you've now given me the ultimate response to a heckler. Every comic here, take that, put it in your back pocket. You are disturbing the spirits. It'll work every time. Perfect. Your next comedian, all the way from Astoria, Queens, making his stand-up comedy debut with the American Comedy Institute. We're so excited to have him. So please give it up for Mr. Tom Sanchez.
Hey, everybody. I'm Tom. I lost a lot of things over the pandemic. I did, specifically my hair. So I'm a hack guy now. It's just what it is. But it's been fantastic for my grooming routine. I mean, I used to have to shave every day, get all these haircuts. Now I just keep it all the same length, and in the morning, I'm done. It's fantastic. Michaela told you I'm out in Queens, and I don't know if you saw this article recently, but apparently the COVID particles in your lungs the cannabis particles in your lungs can prevent you from getting COVID. Now, out in Queens, I don't know if we have herd immunity, but I am absolutely sure we've got herb immunity. I got ghosted. I got ghosted recently. It happens. But my weed dealer ghosted me. So I had to find a new person, and my friend refers me to his guy. And I had a feeling this guy was a little edgy, maybe a little more hardcore than me, because my friend says we don't use names. You just call him C, the letter C. So I'm like, shit, man, I'm gonna get ghosted by another dealer. I know it. So I arranged to meet C, and I'm walking out to his car, and I'm like, all right, how am I gonna talk to this guy so he respects me, so he comes back next time? So I figured it out. I'm like, all right, roll up to his car. I sit in his passenger seat, and I give him daps. I'm like, yo, C, what up? I'm T. And he goes, T, I'm sorry, sir, you've got to go. I'm here to meet a Mr. Thomas Sanchez. I've got his LinkedIn profile right here. No weed for me that day. So I noticed this trend. It seems that 2 years ago, the hottest, most popular shows on Netflix were like serial killers and mass murderers. Now, like right now, the hottest shows on Netflix are dishonest entrepreneurs who are like swindling banks, right? So the point is that the degree of criminality is clearly decreasing. And I've got this feeling in a few years, we're going to be watching shows like This Week on Netflix, Shoplifting Anna, or watch out this month, new on HBO, The Jaywalking Dead. My dad has a really interesting way of answering questions. I'll never forget when I was a kid, as a family, we went to see the Titanic in the theater. And there was that one scene with Jack and Rose where they were in that automobile in the bottom of the boat, and it was getting all steamy. So I turned to my dad and I said, Dad, why are the windows so foggy? As a kid, I didn't get it. And he turns to me and says, don't you know what PG-13 means? I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, if you're under 13, you are not allowed to ask questions in the movie theater. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. I'm Tom.
Tom, what a good rule. I love that. That's awesome. We have one final comic tonight. I'm really excited to have him. He's from the farthest in the past. He's all the way at 5:00 in the afternoon right now. Well, he's from Los Angeles, California. We're so excited to have him. So please give it up for Jack Rain.
Hopefully my Wi-Fi is working. I just paid for my internet like 5 minutes ago. Okay, well, thanks for coming out during the pandemic. Now, when somebody sneezes, I don't say God bless you. I just say COVID. When my mom found out I was doing this, she said I should be respectful of her, which may be impossible. My mom means well, but she'll make you want to pull your hair out. I remember when I was in high school, this guy was teasing me. He said, I slept with your mama last night. And I said, no, you didn't. He said, how do you know? Well, it's because you still have your hair. I had a friend over for dinner a couple years ago. He was a Marine that was going to fight in Afghanistan. And she asked him at the dinner table, are you sure you're going to be safe there? I know I'm supposed to be respectful, but come on! I mean, what do you expect him to say? Well, I am going to fight in a war, and I am a Marine, so, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be just fine. He said something about he'd be okay, not to worry. So when I was 12, my parents separated. And you know the typical thing happened. They fought over me, and it was a little different with my parents. The fight was more like, now you take him! Now you take him! When I was with my dad, he would take me to the movies the whole time. And when I was with him, it was like, I think his way of saying, hey, I'm here, but I'm not here. I mean, there's no better place to take your kid if you don't want to talk to him than a movie theater. Because when I try to talk to him, he'd shush me. And everybody approved in the theater. Family issues. Well, I've noticed that I'm not that good with Latina girls. They hate my guts. And I have a Latino guy friend. I asked him, is it because I don't speak Spanish? And he said to me that he thought it might be a good idea for me when I have Latina girls or Asian girls or Middle Eastern girls that I keep my mouth shut. And white girls. And black girls. Yeah. I never weigh myself, but I can tell if I put on too much weight when I'm in a parking lot. Because normally when a car parks over the line too close to my car, I just have to do a to get into my car. But I know if I have to do a well, then that means it's diet time. Woo. I worry a lot. I mean, I worry that I might get a stroke at the moment when I'm having an orgasm, and my face would be paralyzed with orgasm expression, kind of like a resting bitch face. So people would be like, Jack, are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm just going on a grocery run. Or if I'm going on a date, oh, I recommend the soup. It's really good. It's good to get out of jury. Mr. Rain, is there any reason why you feel you cannot serve on this jury duty? No, I'm all ears. I mean, the only time it would actually be useful is if I'm getting mugged. Oh, why are you running away? I've got a few bucks. Thank you so much for your time. You were a wonderful audience. Have a good one.
Jack Rain. Jack, sounds like the ideal first date spot for you is a movie theater. If it's a horror movie, you can have that face and you don't have to say a single word. So that's the solution. There you go. Thank you all so much for watching the comics tonight. Thank you, comics, for performing. We have an in-person show in New York City right here at Gotham Comedy Club on April 22nd. You'll see some of these folks and some other folks. So come on out, and that's going to be a fantastic in-person live show. And our next workshop starting up on May 10th. So wherever you live in the whole world, go to comedyinstitute.com and you can join our next workshop and work with Steve at the American Comedy Institute. Thank you all so much for watching, and